Normally, if customer wants a virtual machine, he will request us to create a virtual machine with some specification. We create a virtual machine, whatever the OS he is requesting, right? We will install that OS also, something like Linux OS or Windows OS, whatever it is. And we will hand over it to the customer or whoever it is, application team or project management team. Then they will install applications on top of that machine. Whatever the application they want to install, they will install on top of it. So we don't need to worry about the application installation. Application installation will be taken care by the application team. Okay. So here, let's say if our client is very small company, okay, they're just going up. Let's say if that application installation is critical, okay, so like SAP, if you see, the installation will take 3 to 4 hours installing just that application. And if you don't install properly while installing, if you don't select the correct option, the output will not be correct. Okay, so we need expert who can install that application. For this company, hiring an expert to install this application will be costly, and also it's not guaranteed that it is exactly installed as per the customer requirements now. Not only that, let's say he hired that one for now. Tomorrow again he needs to install one more different application. He need to hire that person again, different person, a different application he wants to install. Okay, it's a difficult, like, and for small clients, okay, this is our client. It's a difficult process. That's why what the vendors does, right? In their lab, the very easy example every time I share for this OVA, OVF is our dress. Normally, if you see older days, we used to buy cloth, okay? Go to tailor, go to the market, buy a cloth, which color which you like, then go to tailor, ask him to stitch as per your measurement. He used to stitch the shirt and give you. It's a custom made, like how we do here. Create a VM, install the application, then hand over. It's like manual process. Nowadays, we are not following that process, right? We directly go to the shop, whichever the color and measurement that suits you, you are directly picking up. So who prepared that for you? In the older method, we are customizing ourselves. Okay, manually we go and buy, so customize ourselves. Now somebody prepared it for us. Somebody just as per our measurements, the color, design, whatever it is prepared. It's kind of ready-made virtual machine. Here also, I'm saying it's a ready-made VM. This is a vendor itself. They know that many clients will be using their application. Something like, just an example, I'll take SAP, Cisco, even VMware also has concept. These companies, they know that their applications will be used across worldwide, many customers, not one single customer. So, and also they are aware that their applications are widely used on VMware vSphere. Okay. So, in the same, their lab, they will have similar VMware infrastructure. They will create a VM. Here also VMware administrator will be there, like us. Okay. VM will be there. We will install whatever the Windows or Linux. And application team will install application here. And this is SAP company infrastructure. And they know how to install. They have experts to install this application because that's their own product, right? They can install it better compared to anyone else. So they will install that module, whatever the module that you want. Now this virtual machine means .vmx, .vmdk, nvram, multiple files are there. Now, if you can clone this virtual machine from here to our infrastructure, our client infrastructure, we don't need to build this virtual machine now. It's like this. If you can clone from here to here, okay, that machine will be directly available here with OS and with application also. But it is not possible to clone. This is somewhere in the customer infrastructure. This is somewhere in our client location. So even though you have internet connection here, even though you have internet connection here, it's not possible to clone. It is not allowed. Cloning is within vCenter only it will work. So one vCenter to another vCenter is not possible. Even if it belongs to our client itself, one vCenter to another vCenter, cloning is not possible. Within vCenter only, we can clone. Now, here via internet, still it is not possible, and also it is someone else vCenter. They will not allow us to clone from here to here. Then how we can ship this virtual machine? We have to ship all these files manually, copy from here and paste it here. But they will not allow us to go with a hard disk into their data center. Even if you go to tech parks now, like while interview or while visiting your friend, there will be a lot of security checks. They will not allow you to carry pen drives, laptops. They will ask you to leave at reception. So just casual visit to a just normal company itself so secure. Like we cannot enter into someone else's data center easily without hard disk. Even they will not allow. Then how to copy this virtual machine from here to here? Is the question. That's why VMware has a feature called OVA or OVF, Open Virtual Archive. Okay. So this entire machine, even like you personally, if you see, if you have a lot of files to copy from one laptop to another laptop, first we will zip, copy into pen drive, then paste it on the destination. Okay. Similar way, we have the VMware has concept called OVA. We can export this entire virtual machine, all 7 or 8 files together into one single file. Name can be anything. Let's say SAP module .ova. Entire machine will be compressed into one single file. All the files .vmx, vmdk, everything will pack and compress in one single file .ova. Open virtualization archive. That's what I'm saying. Entire machine will be compressed into one single file. Now, this OVA file, the vendor itself will have a server which is connected to internet. Normally, I'll call it as download server. So they will place that OVA here. Now, whoever has internet connection can download this file, SAP the mm.ova. That is one of the module. Okay, just one of the module name I'm written. Material management. There is a different module in SAP. So .ova. Whoever has internet connection, they can download that file. So now we will download that file here. Name can be anything. Just an example. I'm writing it as So okay, that file is downloaded to our client location now, either vCenter or maybe any other Windows machine here. We can download. Okay, let's say we'll place in one of the Windows machine here, which is VM or physical machine, whatever it may be. So Windows OS. So that OVA file will be downloaded to our location first. Now, using this file, we can extract into virtual machine again. Here, okay. So here export, here we will import. Import that OVA file into a virtual machine now. Once you import, the same machine will be available here. You don't need to create a VM. You don't need to install OS. You don't need to install any application. It will, from that OVA, again it will automatically create a VM here. But we have to import that process, we should know. This is built as per customer instructions now. Now you don't need to have that application installation expert. Okay, you don't need to worry about that. So with free of cost, we can start using it. Then our client should buy license from this vendor via secure email. You will buy license and put it here. Then it's a valid purchase now. You will start using, and we are very confident that this application is installed as per vendor instructions. Any application nowadays is available like this. All the vendors are making OVAs and shipping it to the internet. So it's like a ready-made video, a ready-made virtual machine. Somebody prepared this machine for us. Whatever the module that you want. Let's say I need even vCenter is also available like that. You don't need to install Windows OS, then install vCenter application. VMware prepared a virtual machine with vCenter application. We can download and import like this. Our vCenter is also available as OVA. Understood the concept? It's for application. Customer when specified applications will be installed as per the customer instructions. I mean vendor instructions. And customers will get the output exactly however they want it. Fine. So once you import, you need to put one password that we like and one network address, the IP address I was talking. So we have to put one IP and one password which we like, then we can start using it. Okay, it's ready-made. Nowadays, most of the applications are available like this. We should know how to import a VM into OVA and both way, like export and import, both we should know. Not only for the situation like this, okay, if customer has data center in US, he did some R&D and finally made this machine available, and that application team who installed this application will ask you, this is also our client location only, but it is in UK. He will ask you to copy that VM from US vCenter to UK vCenter. Here also we does the same job. Okay, we have to export as OVA and import into this vCenter. Right, wherever you are in such situation, we can select. If you want to move VM from one vCenter to another vCenter also, we can do this. Okay, depends. Understood? So now we'll see how to export a VM into OVA and also OVA into VM also. And here we'll see one more thing called OVF. OVF, this entire virtual machine will convert into three different files. Okay, .mf file, .vmdk, and .ovf. Three files will be created. If it is OVF, if it is OVA.OVA, one single file. Nowadays in our vCenter, we cannot export as OVA directly. First, we have to export as OVF. These three files will be created. MF, it's a configuration file. VMDK, we know it's a hard disk file. And OVF file. To merge these two files, okay, MF file and VMDK together into one virtual machine, OVF file will be there. So three files will be created when you export as OVF. And while copying also, you have to copy all three files. While downloading also, you have to download all three files. Instead of one file, we use three files here. Concept is same. Okay, OVA for OVA. And nowadays, we cannot directly export OVA. We have to export as OVF. And from OVF, if you want OVA, we need to convert into .OVA. Again, we can do like this. OVF to OVA also we can do. There is a tool which will convert OVF files to OVA. Clear? If you want OVA directly, it is not possible nowadays. Export as OVF, convert them into OVA if needed. Otherwise, you can copy these files to destination and import. You don't need to worry about this OVA. It's not mandatory to have OVA only. Both are same. OVA is single file, OVF is three files. That's it. Okay. If you want to attach only this hard disk to some other machine, you can attach this hard disk only. You don't need to have MF and OVF file separately. Clear from remote? Any question? Fine. Okay. So now we'll see how to export as OVF and import as virtual machine. During interview question also, they will be asking like how to migrate a VM from one vCenter to another vCenter. Okay. There also we can answer like this. Select a virtual machine, right click on it, template, export OVF template. VM will be exported as OVF files. It depends on the data on the virtual machine, it will take some time. Okay, depends on if there is 100 GB, it will take 30 to 40 minutes. If it is 5-6 GB, maximum 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, depends on data. And deploy a VM from a OVA or OVF, both are same. Select vCenter or ESXi host. Right click on it, deploy OVF template, browse and select .ova or OVF file. Next, enter the name for the virtual machine. Storage. Here customization is not needed. It was shipped from another vCenter, right? There is no concept of customization. No need. Okay. Shall we try this now? Exporting OVA and import as OVA file. Any question? So log into the vCenter. We'll select one of the small VM, so which will be fast now. I'll create a 1 GB small VM without any data in it, without OS, so it will be fast. This has 22 GB. This has 4 GB. All are bigger. I'll create a small VM. Okay. I'll just make 2 GB. It will be faster. Okay. VM is created now. VM 56. Okay. Select that virtual machine. Right click on it. Template. Export OVF template. So once you make sure that like there is operating system and application is installed as per instructions, power of that virtual machine, right click, template and export OVF template. VM name, yeah, that's fine. Okay. OVF is downloaded, VMDK is downloaded, MF file is downloaded. All three files are downloaded. You can see its location show in folder. These are all the four. OVF, MF, OVF, and VMDK file. Okay, all three files are there. Using these three files, you can create a virtual machine again. Okay. So the first part is completed. We exported a virtual machine as OVF. Second part, OVF to virtual machine. This will be very important. Frequently, we will be doing. So you can select host here, right click, deploy OVF template. Or if you go to action also, you can find the same option. Okay. OVF template. Directly from internet also you can download it here. Otherwise, select local file which we have downloaded already. Choose file. So there are the three files. Select all three files at a time. Hold with left click and drag here. It will be selected all. And then click on open. All three files are selected. Next, what name? So 56 is already there. It will not take the name. So you have to give the new name VM567 ESXi machine. From vCenter, it will validate whether all the content of that package is valid or not. Okay, it is saying certificate is not verified. That's fine. Okay, that's next. Okay, where you want to place it. If you want to select network also, you can select now or you can select later also. That's fine. Summary, finish. Import OVF package. It's in progress. Okay, VM567. Okay, it's completed. So you can start power on, assign one network address, one password that you like, and start using it. Okay. So in this one, it's a test VM. There was no content inside it. That's why even if you power on, it will be blank only. In real time, normally any of it. So we do that for vCenter installation. When we are working with vCenter lab, we do this process. Okay. So we'll see that again. Any questions? So fifth one also situation specific. Customer will specially mention you there, or a customer or requester, whoever it is, he will clearly mention you to create a VM using OVF file. He will download and give you, or he will give you the URL and ask you to download. Okay, so we can. We don't know the URL, right? When application team or project management team, when they contact vendor, they will share the URL with them. You can, from this location you can download the OVA. Our project management or application team, sometimes they download and give the OVA. Here it is that OVA file. Can you help me to create a VM from it? Or else they will give directly URL to you. Can you help me to download that OVA and create a VM? Okay. So we have to download that OVA, import as virtual machine, assign whatever the network they are asking for, and password. Share the IP address, username, password to them. They will start using it. Okay. Sometimes that OVA files will come with predefined username and password also. You don't need to give anything, just IP is enough. Which network IP you have assigned, they will automatically start using it. Okay, password they know. So total we know 5 methods, right? What are the 5 methods? First machine or a new virtual machine. So in this method, we will create a shell VM, install OS, and then hand over. Next method,
Cloning.
cloning. So we just copy paste an existing machine, and there is a possibility that all the data from the existing machine will carry. So that may be unnecessary most of the times. So normally we don't prefer this one. Third method,
Template.
template. It's a standard master copy of the image. So it will have plain OS and all our customer standard settings applied. If you create a VM from this template, directly we get a virtual machine as per our request. Okay, as per the requester information. And not in terms of RAM and CPU, it's not exactly the same. We have to modify. OS we get and virtual machine we get. Fifth one, no sir, fourth one.
P2V.
P2V or V2V?
V2V. So if customer has physical server and with OS and applications on top of it, and you don't want to use that physical server anymore, he will ask us to convert into virtual machine. If it is Hyper-V, if he is not liking high performance on the Hyper-V, he will buy vSphere and ask us to convert from Hyper-V to VMware. The conversion process, pre-checks, post-checks, we will perform later during the advanced talk. The outcome of V2V also virtual machine. V2V is also virtual machine. Fifth one,
OVA file or export. OVA.
yep, OVA or OVF. So all the output of all the 5 methods will be a virtual machine. Now I will request you to create a virtual machine. Hey, can you create a virtual machine with a name called 45? It should get Windows Server 2022, RAM 4 GB, CPU 2 CPU. And remember, OVA file mostly 99% cases it will come with Linux OS only. Any Linux, CentOS, Red Hat, Photon OS, so different Linux OS only. Microsoft normally will not export any OVA from Windows. In our vCenter, we can export Windows VMs, but customer from the Microsoft end or some any application vendor end, I have not seen any OVA files with Windows OS from the customer, okay, from the vendor. Only it will come with Linux operating system. Because Microsoft is a competitor, right? So they recommend to use their own hypervisor. Fine. If I ask you to create a virtual machine with this specification, out of 5 methods, which one will you prefer as an administrator? Hmm?
Template.
Template method.
New template. Any other answer? So template is the standard option to create a virtual machine in day-to-day job also. If someone is asking whatever the OS, first you log into the vCenter and go to the VMs and templates view, verify whether the template is available or not. Select the template, see what operating system it is there. If it is the correct one, build a VM from that template. Okay, so if template is not available, then normally this method, new VM creation, first method we use. Right? And fourth and fifth, situation specific. Customer will specify to perform these tasks. OVA. Customer means for us, it's like requester, application team or project manager, whoever it is. Okay. They will specify to do P2V or OVA to VM. Okay. So these three, our choice. You can select any of the method. If template is available, you can select. And for some reason template is there. If you create new VM, no one will question, but it takes extra time for you. Okay, 40 minutes to 50 minutes it will take. If it is template, 15 minutes you can complete your work. Fine. And cloning, we don't know what data that is running inside the virtual machine, right? Now I don't know what data it is there inside VM3, why it is used for. Okay? I don't know. If I clone, I will get that unnecessary data again. So preferred method is template. Fine. Any questions from these 5 methods? And very important thing, once you create a virtual machine, we need to make sure we need to install the drivers also. We need to make sure that the VM has latest drivers, because even if you install Windows 10 or Windows 11, very first thing after OS installation we have to do is driver installation. Otherwise, audio will not come. Even if you play song, it will not audible, because even though it's a brand new laptop, it has good speaker, the content inside the file will not come out, because that hardware, the speaker cannot grab the content directly. The driver has to carry. There should be audio drivers. Okay. The same way for network also, to connect in the network, USB also. Okay. But if you buy a laptop with OS on it, normally from vendor itself, so they will install the drivers also along with OS. They will install drivers also and ship. That's why you can directly plug and play, just power on and use. But normally, if you install manually, we need to install drivers also. Okay. Here also, once you create a virtual machine, here also we need to install drivers. Okay. There are a lot of drivers, but out of which 4 or 5 drivers are important, and those drivers together it's called a package called VMware tools. Very important. Common interview question: why we need VMware tools? A set of drivers for a virtual machine. It gives better performance. If you have VMware tools on VM, it will give better performance. Okay. So what drivers will be there? Network interface card drivers, SCSI drivers, hard disk drivers, video drivers. There is something called ballooning drivers and time sync. There are many drivers, out of which these are important. Okay, for a virtual machine. Clear? VMware tools are set of drivers for a virtual machine for better performance. Clear? And these are the major drivers that are included inside a virtual machine. But how to check like whether the virtual machine has drivers installed already or not? Okay. Select the virtual machine, summary tab, VMware tools. You can check the status here. The status will be very common is current. That means latest drivers. Upgrade available. That means drivers are there but old drivers. Okay. Not installed. No drivers. Drivers are not yet installed. Guest managed. Drivers are installed as part of OS. So you can find any of these status: current, upgrade available, not installed, guest managed. When any virtual machine is showing as current, that means it has latest drivers already installed in it. You don't need to worry about it. If it is showing upgrade available, drivers are there but very old. It should be upgraded. Not installed, clearly saying there are no drivers. We have to install. Guest managed. So normally, if you see ESXi machine, this is our ESXi machine. Once you install ESXi operating system here, this operating system itself will have the drivers package for all the operating systems. If you install any OS, Windows, Linux, other OSs, VMware will develop drivers for all the operating systems. Which all operating systems? When I say all, so if you see here, when we create new virtual machine, here select Windows for all these operating systems, and for Linux all these operating systems, for other, all these operating systems. VMware has developed drivers for all these operating systems and placed in the ESXi operating system itself. When you create any virtual machine here, and let's say if it is Windows Server 2016, when you try to install VMware tools, ESXi will automatically attach the package whichever it is compatible for this 2016. ఇక్కడున్న డ్రైవర్స్ లోంచి ఈ 2016 కి ఏ డ్రైవర్స్ అయితే అప్లికబుల్ అవుతాయో అది ఆటోమేటిక్ గా అటాచ్ చేస్తుంది. తర్వాత మనం ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి. It will automatically attach that package which is compatible with 2016 and we have to manually install that later. Later means immediately after attaching it. If it is Linux, again ESXi will attach Linux compatible driver. So for all the operating systems, it will automatically attach. So these drivers are developed by now VMware. Even though the operating system is developed by Windows or Linux companies, the drivers for that operating system is developed by VMware. Now, after 10 or 15 years, all companies know the fact that their operating systems, except Windows, okay, except because they are competitor for a vSphere in terms of Hyper-V, except Microsoft Windows operating system, rest all Linux guys, Linux competitors, right? Linux operating system vendors, SUSE, Red Hat, CentOS, Ubuntu, all these operating system vendors, they develop the drivers for their OS. Okay, Red Hat company developed drivers for Red Hat OS to install on ESXi. They know the fact that their operating systems across worldwide majorly used on VMware ESXi operating system. So they install, they develop the drivers because the vendor, like operating system vendor, can better understand compared to anyone else, right? It's like VMware is trying to understand how this Windows OS will work. Now Microsoft thinks about how this Windows OS works. They can better understand, right, compared to anybody else. That's the logic. The operating system vendors itself developing drivers to install it on a VMware ESXi. That's why the drivers are coming with as part of OS itself. When you install OS, not Windows, like Linux. Reason, we know that Microsoft Hyper-V is competitor for ESXi. So that's why Linux vendors, when you install, let's say, Red Hat Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. With this OS itself, it will come with VMware tools also. That's why it's showing guest managed. When you install that virtual machine on top of the ESXi, it will clearly show guest managed. That means the OS itself has drivers developed by that guest OS vendor. Understood? And not just simply they develop and release in the market. They will get approval from VMware also. They'll talk to the VMware. We have developed drivers for Red Hat Linux. They will VMware also will certify them, and then they will approve to ship along with OS. Then only VMware will come to know it is guest managed. Otherwise, they cannot. Right? So we'll verify it how it looks like. I'll select this machine. Summary tab. It is running with Windows 12 and VMware tools not installed. It's showing guest managed. You don't need to touch if it is guest managed. Okay, so this machine, it's a Photon OS and it is running guest managed. You don't need to worry about it. We select this machine, not installed. Not installed. It's current, latest Windows OS, but latest drivers are there. Okay, so we'll install on this Windows machine. See, if you see the mouse, there are no video drivers. That's why it's very slow. Cursor, if you see, it's a pixel by pixel holding and coming. If you see outside my laptop, it's very clear, very fast. If you see here inside, it's very slow. It's because Windows Server 2016 is there, even mouse is visible. If you see Windows Server 2012, okay, 2012, so even mouse cursor will not visible. After the driver's installation only, you can see the cursor. At least in this operating system, there are mouse drivers, but not up to date. Okay, with OS there. For that, we need to install VMware tools. So to install VMware tools or upgrade, both are same. Installation and upgradation. Select virtual machine. You need to select powered on virtual machine. Right click on it. Guest OS. Install VMware tools or upgrade VMware tools. You need to click on any one of it. Click OK. Second step, log into the VM OS, CD DVD, run the installer. Next, finish. It will restart the machine also. Very, very important. It will restart. So you should not do whenever you want. Okay. You need to take customer approval if it is handed over already. And very important thing, only Windows machines need reboot after VMware tools installation or upgradation. Linux machines doesn't need reboot. And in technical words, restart, reboot, reset, power cycle, all are same, equal to restart of the computer. Whatever it is running inside that computer will shut down and will restart again. Restart, reboot, reset, power cycle, all are same. Okay. Fine. All means restarting of a computer. So we'll try this installation now. Okay. In this machine, DC, it is clearly showing not installed, not running. Okay, DC machine. To install VMware tools, right click, guest OS, install VMware tools. As the VMware tools are not yet installed, it is showing install VMware tools. If it is showing upgrade available, that means drivers are already there, but outdated. So in that case, if you see here, upgrade VMware tools will be enabled. Okay. Already drivers outdated unte upgrade చేయమని ఈ ఆప్షన్ ఎనేబుల్ అవుతుంది. As of now drivers are లేవు కదా, so it's showing install VMware tools. Click on it. So when you say mount, the image, the driver's image or package from here, it is just attached. It's like you attached your pen drive to your laptop. If you want to see the content, you will go to the pen drive and open the content, right? It's the same. Just now package is attached. If you want to install the drivers, log into the machine, and while logging into this machine, it is clearly showing press Ctrl Alt Delete to log in, right? So don't press Ctrl Alt Delete on your computer. If somebody notice it, they will clearly understand that you have not worked on this technology, you don't have a prior hands-on experience. ఈజీగా తెలిసిపోతుంది. మీరు ల్యాప్టాప్ కీబోర్డ్ మీద Ctrl Alt Delete ప్రెస్ చేస్తే మీరు వర్క్ చేయలేదని క్లియర్గా తెలిసిపోతుంది. సో ఇక్కడ ఆప్షన్ సెండ్ Ctrl Alt Delete. So you have to always press this send Ctrl Alt Delete, and here enter the password. Okay. So log into that machine. Now go to the CD DVD. Here, VMware tools packages are attached here. Just double click on it. it will automatically start the installer. Otherwise, you can click setup 64-bit version. Okay, installer. And important thing is Windows machine must need reboot after drivers installation. Linux machine, we don't need to reboot. Okay, very, very important. Common interview question also. Some 2 to 3 questions they can frame from this topic itself. What are VMware tools? Why we need? After installation of VMware tools, do we need to restart? If it is Windows, yes. If it is Linux, don't need to reboot. And also Windows, you should not reboot whenever you want. If the customer is using right, you need to ask his permission to upgrade, okay, or install, because it will reboot the machine. It's a bit slow. How many CPUs? I think 4 CPU, 4 GB RAM. Okay. So next, install. See, drivers are almost already affected. If you see, mouse is working with the same speed in and out. Okay. Inside also it's working normally now. Drivers are already updated. Finish. It will ask you to restart. Say yes. It's restarting. Fine. So VMware tools are set of drivers for a virtual machine for better performance. We'll have network drivers, SCSI drivers, video drivers, ballooning and sync. Ballooning, there is a separate topic. We will discuss about ballooning later. Time sync is nothing but time on the ESXi and time inside the virtual machine will be same. For that, we need to have VMware tools installed. And the tools status you can find from VM summary tab. Okay, select the virtual machine, summary tab. Here you can see VMware tools. Already it is showing current. Earlier it was showing not installed. It is having latest drivers now. Okay. Now, so the status of the VMware tools will be either current, that is latest drivers, upgrade available, drivers are there but old drivers, not installed, drivers are not yet installed, guest managed, installed as part of OS itself. Okay. If it is current and guest OS, we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to touch that at all. If it is upgrade available, we need to talk to the customer, take his permission when to reboot and then upgrade. If VM is not at handover, like a customer asks you to build a virtual machine now, okay, so you just prepared that virtual machine from first method or clone or template or P2V or OVA, whatever it is. Create a virtual machine, immediately you need to install drivers also. If it is OVA, it will be 99% cases, it will be guest managed only. Okay, if it is OVA, if you are deploying from vendor website, you downloaded and installing on our customer infrastructure, it will be guest managed. You don't need to touch if it is OVA. Rest all methods, we have to make sure up to date drivers and then hand over it to the customer. Then if it is Windows, then only it need reboot. Linux doesn't need reboot. Okay. If you see now, if you log in, it will be working without better performance. Still booting up. Okay. So any question? Fine.